Hello. In this short video, I'll be covering random things that you can expect to happen at the beginning of your lock journey. Now, they may or may not happen to you, but they happen to me, and apparently they're quite common, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Patricia, and I'm actually quite a shy person, but I decided to share my braid lock journey because if it wasn't for other people sharing their stories here, I wouldn't have had the knowledge or the courage to start mine. My only hope in sharing here is that you find something of value for your own journey. Happy locking! The first thing I'm going to cover is unraveling. So unraveling is when the end of your lock starts opening up. So I started with braid locks, so the braids were opening up. And because I started with such short hair, like 4 inches of hair, they'd open up more than halfway. So I'd be constantly braiding them back. I'd just find them around and just constantly braiding them back up. But after the first month, I heard that the unraveling was actually part of the locking process. So I just stopped doing it as much, and they started forming ringlets, and eventually they did start to come together and start locking. So unraveling is actually part of the locking process. I mean, not in the first couple of weeks. Obviously, you're gonna need to fix them, but after a few weeks, you just have to let them do their thing. So that's unraveling. The second point I'm gonna bring up is slippage. Now, slippage is different from unraveling, because unraveling is obviously when it comes from the ends, but slippage is when it slips out from the roots. And that's one of the biggest reasons you braid and band your hair when you wash it in the beginning, is to prevent them from slipping from the root. Now, one place I couldn't prevent the slipping was the back row and the perimeter, but especially the back 2 rows. They would come all the way out. I would be rebraiding them from top to bottom constantly. And I don't know if it's because of our head movements that the back row comes out, but that one's really common. And I'd say for the first 6 months, I was constantly rebraiding the back 2 rows and a few around the perimeter. I don't know why those, maybe because a lot of people's hair is softer in those areas, because they were slipping. So slippage is something to expect in the beginning of your lock journey. The next thing to get ready for is the shrinkage. And it's gonna shrink. No matter what, it's gonna shrink. And it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Mine did not stop shrinking for the first 8 or 9 months, at least. And with the shrinkage, it gets fuller and thicker. And with the fuller and thickness comes the frizz. And the frizz stays until, I don't know, because it's still frizzy and I'm a year and 3 months in. So I'll let you know when that stops, because it still hasn't stopped yet. Look, when you start with braids, you start with coils, you start with twists, the shrinkage and the frizz are coming. So you might as well embrace it, because there's nothing you can do about it. You're putting more water and oils and you just can't stop it. It's coming and that's it. So you might as well embrace it. For the first 6 months at least, because my hair was so short when I started, for the first, I'd say 6 months, it just looked like I had a really tiny afro. It didn't even look like I had locks, because the shrinkage was so much and the frizz was so much. So, like I said, that's just something you're gonna have to embrace on this journey. Now, as your journey continues, you're gonna notice that there's these little, I'd say these little balls that form on the end of your lock. And they seem to be hanging on only by a little bit, and they just hanging off. I didn't know what they were at first, so I was constantly touching my hair anyways, so I would just pick them off. But apparently, and not apparently, they are, what they do is they start to form their way back up the end of your lock and seal the end of your lock, like magic. But I didn't know what they were at first, so I used to pick them off. I thought I would find a really good one to show you, but I think that phase for me is almost over. I found one, so I'll show you a picture of it here. Yeah, so don't pick them off, like I did. Do what I say, not what I do. Yeah, don't pick them off. Now, when I first started my locks, they were really dry, and my scalp was itchy, and they would dry a lot. And so I used to put a lot of water. I'd always be putting water on it in the shower and just spraying water in it. And at first I was using rose water because everyone else was, and that's what they said to use. But then I found it wasn't doing that much for me. So I started using distilled water. And then I just went to regular tap water because I live in Vancouver and we have the best water in the world. So I drink tap water and I use tap water. So I just started spraying tap water in my hair. And then after about month 5, they just stopped being dry and started settling down. So I thought, oh, okay, I've turned a corner in my journey. I guess that's it. That wasn't the case. When I started my locks, it was just around the beginning of summer. So of course it was hot out and my hair was more dry. And then when I thought they were settling down, it was the fall. And in Vancouver, it rains every single day. And I'm barely exaggerating. Every single day from October to March. If there was a day it stopped raining for an hour, that's kind of a day it didn't rain here. So you gotta understand the intensity of the downpour of rain. It just rains buckets for months. And so there was more humidity and rain in the air. So my hair was getting moisturized just from that. And so it's, depending on the climate and your body chemistry and how much oils you produce, you know, you find your own groove of your own hair and you find the products that work for you. And you know when you're a loose natural and you have hundreds of hair products and ones that make your hair shinier and healthier and stronger and to tangle your hair and longer, and you know, all the different products you buy to do all these different things, you don't need them anymore, they're done with. So you're left with some oil, shampoo, water. And within that, you know, you find your rhythm of what your locks are actually going to start liking. So in the beginning, it's just a lot of learning your own hair. Another thing that happens at the beginning of your journey is, it's a psychological one, this one. You get to like month 3 or 4 and you're like, ugh, I'm sick of this. It's taking so long. You know what, I'm gonna comb them out. Do you know what, I don't even want them. You know what, I'll start again next year. Or, oh, I hate this phase. I just want a different hairstyle. I'm done with it. And that'll pass. A lot of people go through that. We don't always talk about it, but a lot of people go through that. I went through that. And you know, it's just about being patient. That's why they always say be patient on your journey. Because it's a big journey. It is in the beginning. So that one, you know, you just have to just get through that phase. Wear a wig if it makes you feel better, I don't know, but just persevere, because once you get past it, then, you know, you stop feeling like that and you're more happy when you see more progress happening. Now, I'm sure I must have missed some points when I went over this, but those are the things that really stuck out in my mind for the first 9 months. And it does seem like, in conclusion, looking at all the things I've talked about, it seems like there's so much to do and there's so much going on, but there really isn't. These things just happen and then you deal with them as they come. And a lot of it doesn't even require you to do anything but be patient and understand it's part of the locking process. The only time it's a bit more concerning is when you don't know what's happening and you think, should I be doing something about this? Oh no, should these little balls be forming, or is it shrinking too much? Are these opening? When you don't know what's going on, it's more concerning. But now I've told you what's happening, you already know. So you're welcome. No, in all silliness, putting all silliness aside, I hope this helps somebody on their journey. And if you think of anything that I've missed, you could just leave it in the comments and I'll try and address it next time. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope this helps somebody. Thank you, bye. See you next time.